Observations with Robert Meyer Burnett.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude with my big giant head, Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'm coming at you with fully articulated episode number 31. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. You know, I did say that after seeing The Flash early, the first thing that came to my mind was that Hot Toys was coming for us hard, and harder than usual. And my co-host, my favorite Yorkshire man, he had something very colorful to say about this before we started the stream today. Please welcome Az.
Hi, how you doing?
I had mentioned to you earlier in the stream that Hot Toys, or before we started the stream, that Hot Toys was indeed coming for us, and you had some colorful language I would like to hear from you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of bat suits coming out by the looks of it. And I said, I'm bent over and I'm spreading my asshole open, ready for Hot Toys. I will take that pounding.
You do not
take it.
You do not disappoint. Let me just say, you do not disappoint. Now I had said, you know, when I saw this film, the potential for releases, I knew that they could do things to us that would hurt. I didn't think that they would go this far.
It's hard.
It is hard. I mean,
but when we look at the bat suits, I can speculate on a couple of them about, you know, sort of the potential Easter egg factor of them. But yeah, there's. I mean, I'll probably pick them all up.
Well, the real question is, as when you look at this, you know, I know you can get passionate about this, but when you saw this armory, and we'll show it soon enough, did you immediately decide to get it? What feelings did it instill in you?
I've never wanted to take it up the ass so much in all my life.
Wow, boy.
As long as it's Hot Toys given, you know.
Well, what if you have like Marina Baccarin and you're going to celebrate International Women's Day like Deadpool?
Oh, nah. I don't. No, I mean, look, I want to with Marina. You know, I want to be doing. I don't want to be receiving it. You know. I've been holding a torch ever since Firefly. So come on.
All right, if that's what you say. I mean, you might you know, let her down.
There's so many of these bat suits. Gotta get into it, man.
Yes, I mean,
if that's gay, I don't ever want to be straight.
Well, okay. I thought the bat suits. I mean, we knew certain things were coming. I got the dogs outside.
Dogs are going nuts.
They're going crazy. They heard your comments and they want to get a. They're like, they think you're in here and they want to come after you. So it's probably the pool guy is who it is.
Oh.
Yeah, we even have a pool guy. What can I say? So the pooches are pooching as they do. Maybe I'll tell Elizabeth that she has to bring the dogs in. Hang on. I know.
What? And ruin the ambience?
It's true.
While we've been doing that, I've just stealthily purchased a bunch of the new G.I. Joe Classified.
You did.
Which I'm happy to take now that they are changing the packaging back.
Oh, well, they probably watch. That's because they watch a show, man. They watch a show.
Apparently, they got a lot of
feedback. Flack. Yeah, I'll bet they did. Why they choose to do it? So, okay. So this week was a big week for Hot Toys. First of all, actually, the first thing that they announced, and by the way, this has all really come at us in a week. You know, like since we talked about, I think we talked about or maybe not. Last week had the Michael Keaton Flash Batman dropped yet? I don't think so.
Last week, yeah.
Had it? Well, for those, I don't know if we showed it, but look at this. Okay, we did show it on the stream. I just want to start with this, give it a little bit of an introductory thing. I'm going to put you in so you can see the live output from the show. That's right. And I think this face sculpt is especially you look at it on the left, it's to me, that's astonishing. It's incredible. I mean, that face sculpt is absolutely incredible. Now, and of course, so people know what we're talking about, in the last week, and with this Batman, obviously, just to recap, we have him here, in the cave. We have him coming we have him coming down, and this is one handsome figure. Now they've made two different Batmans. They made a Batman from 89, and then they made a Batman from Batman Returns, and then they did a 2-pack with Batman and Bruce Wayne. So it wasn't a big stretch to know that this was coming. We're also getting their reissuing their old 89 Batmobile, which I already have. I already have this Hot Toys Batmobile, but I'm sure it's going to have changes to it. Also, Yoast over at Jazz Inc. is doing one as well. So that's cool. But then over the week, they released this. And we don't, here it is. It's the Batman. Oh my God, it's the Batman Armory. Now, obviously, I would assume these are just suits. But the last Batman Armory they released 3 versions of it. It came with a Bruce Wayne and an Alfred. Then one just came with Alfred. But they also came with the Armory, and then there was parts in the Armory, and they were of a more accurate bat suit from the Dark Knight. And then you could actually use those pieces. So what do you think? Do you think that this Armory is going to allow you are we going to be able to use all of these and make our Batmans the way we want them? Will they all fit? Are they going to give us a Michael Keaton body that we can, or are these just going to be is this just going to be a display diorama piece? What do you think?
I think it's a display diorama.
Yeah, I do too.
Which I would be still okay with. If you bring it back up, I'll just go through a couple of the suits, just so you kind of know where we are.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just do that real quick. Hang on, I'm gonna just put you in here.
Because there's a bit of a timeline by the looks of it thing going on here, which I think. So obviously the front and center suit is the current Michael Keaton suit that we're going to see in the Flash movie, which I gotta confess, kind of getting a little bit excited to see. Over our left shoulder of him, his right, our left, that's the 89 Batman suit. On the right-hand shoulder of him, his left, our right, that's the Batman Returns suit. Then the suit to the right of that, I think, is a homage to Batman Hush when he has the rebreather suit, The suit to the right of that, I think, is a homage to Nightmare Batman. I think that's a Nightmare Batman homage. To the left of the 89 suit, that is basically what Keaton's Batman Nightfall Batman suit would be. Blue with pants. And then the one on the far left, I can't quite put that. However, the logo, if you look on the chest, is the 66 Batman logo. So I think and I'm not quite sure if it's just the harness or whether or not there is a gun holster on it. If there is a gun holster on it, then it's a little bit of homage to Batman Year 2. But I'm not sure if that is just the harness or a holster from these. I would need to see further pictures. But I would be more than okay.
Wow.
Because I want to set up a bat cave. I'm okay with having suits in the bat cave.
All I know is
I never got my Batman v Superman suit, in its empty suit from Toys Wonderland.
I just think I look at this and I'm just like, okay, what do you think what's the price point, buddy? Give me a price.
If it's 7 suits that are just display suits, I would put the price at around $700 to $800.
You were
even seven to £800.
For what it was weird. It was you were echoing there for a while, so I apologize for that. That was weird. $700 or £800, so that's like $1,000.
Probably, yeah, 7, 8. About if it's 800, yeah, $1,000 is about 800, yeah.
And is this an immediate? Are you going to pre-order this?
Does the Pope shit in a wood?
Okay.
Is the bear Catholic?
Rob Biller in the chat says $1,500. I think that's too much.
Ooh,
That's a
I mean,
huge. I think they got to keep it below.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like even $1,200. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, it's
Let me put it this way, Rob. Let me put it this way. They're releasing the 89 Bat computer.
Hot Toys or
Hot Toys.
Joe? Oh, okay.
Hot Toys are releasing the 89 Bat computer. That is going to come out. That's already scheduled to be released at some point. Very soon, probably. So you could have such a Keaton Batman Batcave element going on here. With the additional suits, the Bat computer, the Batmobile, whether it be the Hot Toys Batmobile or you go with Juiced at Jazz Inc. You could do something really special here with that, and that would be so.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I won't be it could be a pricey one, or maybe they're releasing them in 2-packs, 3-packs, individual. Who knows?
Yep. It's going to be. Yeah, I never thought about that.
It wouldn't be nice if you could take the cowl off and actually put a head on as well.
Multiple releases. I didn't think about that. Now, as you know, that's not all they announced. So they also announced. Now, this is the thing I want to get your opinion on this. So they also announced, as we've seen the film, and I don't think it's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. There is a big action sequence a long extended action sequence that opens the film. And in it, we see Batman on his bat cycle. We've seen him. He comes out of an airplane on the bat cycle. Now, that figure, it's actually the Ben Affleck Batman.
Yes.
Now, they have released pictures of this. And you pointed out that this is the same bat cycle that was in the Batgirl.
Possibly. It looked very, very similar to the Batgirl one.
So here it is. Here is the now this looks like Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
But now here are different head sculpts that come with it, and so if you look at the left, that looks more. I mean, these head sculpts look more Keaton. So yeah. I'm wondering if they had made this for. I mean, obviously the suit's different. If you look at the suit, it's let's see if there's a better angle on this suit. I thought there was. I thought I had a better angle where you could see. The interesting thing about this suit, okay, if you look at the sort of the arms, and you can't really tell, but there's an interesting under, like a support armor, almost like
Yes.
it's not as full on as, because this looks like Ben Affleck. I guess it is. It's like the support armor that it's not as big as the armor from Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, but he does a lot of things in here that are a little more powerful than a normal man could do. And I think that the it's almost like an exosuit armor.
Yeah, like an exosuit. Yeah.
But he does things that are, and that exosuit obviously assists in what he's doing in this sequence. But so, okay, what do you think of this Bat Cycle? We knew they were making this Bat Cycle, and what do you think of the what do you think of the figure?
I think the Bat Cycle looks incredible. My only criticism would be that the tires are looking a little plasticky, and they could do with looking a little bit more tiry.
Right, like rubbery. Yeah. I agree with that.
Other than that, I think it looks fantastic. I think it really looks great. And I'd love to have a Goodbye Ben Batman figure. I'd need better angles of this because the trailer hasn't done this suit very kind.
No.
In as much as how it's it looks kind of better there, but I think this suit would benefit from the pants. I think this suit kind of looks a little bit wonky without pants. So they had one opportunity to put Ben Affleck in the pants, and I think it would have been better.
Right.
But I think if they put him in the pants in Batman v Superman.
Oh, here, this is what I was looking for. This picture, so you can see how it's got this, and a lot of people, it might not be people's favorite bat suit, but what I did like about it is in the sequence in the movie, what he's doing, it kind of gives an explanation as to, okay, there's more support here. He's obviously got a bit of an assist,
sure,
in terms of what's going on. And I did kind of like that. That's the Keaton Batman again, but so good. And
they're up for pre-order.
All of this stuff's up for pre-order.
The Batman and Bat Cycle and the Batman.
Wow.
But they are now up on Sideshow for pre-order.
Well, here,
look. I can give you some pricing.
Yeah, I was going to see.
£552, Batman and the Bat Cycle. Which I think is...
that's like $700.
Yeah, it's going to be about 700.
Well, that's cool. I mean, not inexpensive, but definitely worth it. It probably won't come out till 2026, so we've all got time to save up our shekels.
July to December 2024 is the current, which is only just over a year away. I mean, not that they tend to hit the early release times.
Yeah, we shall see.
But I think,
what can you do?
But
hey, it's all good. It's all good, man. I'm
just desperately searching if I got a if I got a promo code, please. Anything just to alleviate a little bit, please. Much thank you, please. I gotta speak to Sideshow, right? Because I got a $55 credit because my Ada Wong statue, the leg wouldn't fit into the hole properly.
That's what she said.
And so they said, oh, you gotta, well, they didn't say you got to, but they said a good thing to do is like get some heat, put your hair dryer and heat it up. Do you think I have a fucking hair dryer? So I just said, yeah, I did that. I still can't get it in fully.
I don't quite know what to say about that.
It's a bit prickly to touch. You can't tell it's prickly. And so they gave me anyway. They gave me $55 credit, which is nice. And I put the code into a statue, and then it said the statue doesn't ship to the UK, so I couldn't get the statue, and it ate the code.
Oh.
So my $55 code got eaten up in a order that didn't get processed because it wouldn't go through because it won't ship to the UK. Yep.
Well, that's
where we are.
Lame.
Yeah. It's Leighton Gay. That's what it is.
You know what isn't lame though? Hot Toys dropped something else on us too. They dropped Luke. Bespin Luke finally coming out. It's out.
Oh.
It's out.
What, available for pre-order or out for?
No, I think it's out.
Purchase?
I think it's out, ready for purchase. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I've got one on pre-order.
Yeah, the Bespin Luke, the DX Luke. There he is. Just like, I have the original. I have the original release, the Bespin Luke that came with the gantry from the bottom of Cloud City, and this is one of their very first DX figures, and it's at least 10 years old. This one looks to be better in almost every respect. Sorry, I should have blown up these pictures. I'm covering your lovely face, but
no, I'm more than happy with that because you still got me on a full shot. So yeah, I'm happy.
Oh, that's good. So, well, anyway, hey, so this is very cool, cool stuff. And are you excited? Did you pre-order this figure?
I'm just checking now to see if I canceled it.
Really?
Because I did, because I kind of had my fill of
Star Wars,
of Disney, Disney Star Wars, and Disney in general. Disney Marvel, Disney Star Wars. Had my fill of it. So I'm just checking my orders now because
But this is real. This is Empire. This is Empire Strikes Back.
Right. Okay. I know.
Come
This
on,
is
man.
what. Right. I did cancel the Luke, the Mandalorian season 2 Luke. I canceled it.
Right.
Bye. The Bespin Luke, though, I'm not sure. So I'm just checking my Lukes on my orders. No, I kept the Bespin Luke.
Okay.
I did keep the Bespin Luke. So, yes, I will no doubt get a shipping soon.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, this is scheduled for July. That's its early scheduled date. So if it's coming out June, it's done well.
Well, I think it came out in Hong Kong, so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it might be 2 or 3 months before we see it.
Yeah. Unless you order it from. And then we saw the So Toys Homelander. We saw clips of that coming out, which I want to get. Are you getting the Homelander from the boys?
Well, I ordered one from Toys Wonderland, and it's never arrived.
Right. Well, it hasn't come out yet. The So Toys. Toys Wonderland.
Well, there was 2 companies though, wasn't there? There was 2 companies that made one. I think the one that I ordered wasn't So. I think it was the other company.
Oh.
And that never turned up. Just like so many other orders with Toys Wonderland, never turned up.
Huh. Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Joker, my InArts Joker. Come on, boys, give it to me.
Well, thankfully, I ordered that through Spec Fiction.
Yeah, and I ordered what else did I order? I ordered So Toys came out with their Anna Marie, their Rogue figure. Mm-hmm. So I picked up their Rogue figure as well. So hopefully that'll show up.
Before we move away from Batman, though,
do you got something to show us?
I'm gonna have to pull back.
Oh. Wow. That is tasty. Now tell the kids at home, what is this?
This is the quarter scale Batman Hot Toys Batman trilogy. Batman which has all the accessories from The Dark Knight, but it also has all the accessories. Can you hear me, Fino? Or do you want me to?
Yeah.
But it also has the accessories from The Dark Knight Rises as well, which the original quarter scale of this did not have.
Oh, so this is a new quarter scale.
Yeah, this is a new quarter scale of it. This isn't the old one. This is the new released. See, I've got the batarangs in the hand there. So I've put like a bunch of stuff on the belt because I actually like a bit of a chonk utility belt. And even at the back here, I do have his grapple gun. Hidden away at the back. And this is something special, I gotta say. And I've put the heads away. But this is magnetic. Which I so much prefer, the magnetic heads, because it actually does allow for way more posability.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And it comes with the sonar head,
so
which
cool.
lights up the eyes when you've got the batteries, which I've got, and I've shown it off. I do have pictures of that. Comes with a sonar head, comes with 3 different face changes for down here. The eyes are... There's 2, you can see them, 2 joysticks in there, which control the eyes.
That's so cool.
So you can move the eyes into whatever pose that you want. The cape is beautiful, fine material, so I love the way that it hangs. The base is plastic, but it looks good, and it's not that heavy. The weight displacement is kind of all over the place, but it's not that heavy for a quarter scale. And then the suit itself, he had enough. Am I still in, or did I get booted?
No, you're still in.
Okay. He just fell forward.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no.
Just gonna put the batarangs in. When he landed on the keyboard, so I have no idea if I got booted or not, because it just came up the Google help page on my other monitor. So yeah, because the way that I've got the feet, because the way that the base does have a bat sim. Oh, I gotta be careful. Actually, let me just take him off for a minute, because there's something that the base can do which is pretty cool. Okay, so you got the base as is, right? And you can have the pole here, and then you've got the crotch holder there. What you can do with
that base is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, but you can do this as well. You can take that right off.
Wow.
So if I was to, let me just take the this out.
No one saw it.
No one saw that. So you can take this off, right? And if I turn it around, you'll see that there is a chunk here, which is designed so that it can actually go onto the corner of the table.
Wow.
So that will go onto the corner of a table. Then you put the pole back into the top.
Yeah. And it'll...
And
so,
then
and so the figure supports... When you put the figure in, it supports that thing from falling down? Or holds it?
Because the weight's there, but then the figure goes on, and then the weight balances it.
Oh, that's so cool. What a cool... that's some officer thinking from Hot Toys. Wow, okay.
Yeah, it will stay on the corner... But obviously, you know, a little tap and it'll go forward. But when you got the model on, no, the model's going to hold it down. The only, when I say slight annoyance, is on the base you do have this bat symbol at the top. But that actually makes feet, hence why it keeps falling forward. That actually does make feet placements a little bit awkward. But,
that is outstanding.
That's how it clicks in. It clicks in through 1, 2, 3, and then that's where the support will go for the actual figure itself. So this is very well. It is very well thought out. It is an awesome figure. I do have the quarter scale Batman Begins up there. I also have the 1-in-6 Batman Begins. I also have the 1-in-6 Batman Trilogy, and now got the 1-in-4 Batman Trilogy. I do have the Dark Knight symbol on my Jazz Inc. bat signal. So I do have a massive kind of Dark Knight theme, and I do have the new Bane on pre-order and Catwoman.
Nice. See, I've got the old Bane and the old Catwoman, and that Bane figure is really good. And
because
that
I got the
did that come with the
exclusive.
quarter scale one too? The new.
This came with the exclusive version of the quarter scale.
That's so good.
You can put the sonar head on here if you want. This head comes off.
Wow. Okay.
This head comes off, and this neck here, that's a complete separate piece, purely made for this head.
Wow.
So when you take this off, you can take this neck off as well. So if you put the sonar head in, which will already have the neck on it, that just clicks in. And then I put on the back of it, because you can take this off if you want, but I put on the back of it the glider suit, the glider aspect from the Dark Knight. So he's got the glider aspect there. But this is I mean, this Christian Bale sculpt is absolutely redundant.
It's incredible.
I mean, that is something.
It's incredible.
Yes.
That is just what an amazing sculpt.
Yes, it is.
That's wow. I got to get one of those.
Shock horror to the audience, who obviously watch the shows on a regular basis. This one, not trying to exclude anyone, but they'll just understand this more. I have got no Transformers to show off today.
Oh my God! Well, that's okay. That's okay. You know,
I've got three. I've got a couple more things to show, but no Transformers. This.
I got stuff. I mean, I know it's not action figures. I had my Wanda. So Sideshow, I got my Wanda. I got a shipping notice for my WandaVision Sideshow figure, which I really wanted because I'm going to replace the body with a Fison body. Okay. But I wanted it because I love my X-Men, and the Scarlet Witch in that form is X-Men. So, and I don't know if the MCU is ever going to have X-Men, but we've got Namor, who's a mutant. We've got Miss Marvel, who's a mutant. They've never called Scarlet Witch a mutant. She's a miracle, as we heard in Age of Ultron. But we know better. So I got a couple of things. I love my model spaceships. And I also, some of the great spaceships of all time are from your homeland. The beautiful 1974, 75, or 75, 76 show Space 1999.
Oh, yes.
Now, I have many different
beautiful eagles.
I have different eagles, but one of the things that there is a fighter version of the eagle called the Hawk.
Yes.
That we saw. Well, the great this is a 1/48 scale model of the Hawk, which I'll go full frame on. So this goes with the 1/48 scale eagle. It's much smaller than the eagle, but it's built to fight. And this is the standard look, and of course it was also designed by Brian Johnson and everybody. And I mean, you have to build it. And I do have die-cast Hawks from 1612. But what's great about these kits is, well, you can't really see it. They're incredibly detailed. These new Space 1999 kits are really great, and they're easy to make. It's all in the painting. But here, I'll take out so you can see how big it is at 1/48 scale. Oops, as I'm dropping things on my keyboard.
Oopsies.
So here is the hull, and
yeah.
So this is not by any means small. So it's a good size kit, and I have to change. So you can see the main hull, and this isn't even how long it is because it with the engines and the propulsion, it gets longer. But yes, you have to build and paint it, but it's not that difficult to build and paint. So I'm very excited to have this big of a Hawk, because when you were a kid, they did make a model of the Hawk when I was a kid, but it was smaller. And when I was a kid, I always wanted bigger spaceships. So I got that, and I also got, so the same company makes a model kit of the Galileo shuttlecraft from the original Star Trek. Pretty big, 1/32 scale, but they didn't make an interior. They didn't have the inside. They only had the exterior. Well, they made this. They made they made an interior kit. So it comes with
the most basic shuttlecraft you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, but it was so badass, when you were a kid.
Yeah.
So you've got all the controls, and what this will allow you to do is light the inside. I mean, it's a pain in the ass, but you have to have the original model kit, which I do. But the fact that they made this available, because there was third party and there were garage kits. A guy named Randy Cooper made a really nice kit of the Galileo that I have, but to have this interior set is pretty cool. And this is basically what it comes with. You've got the control panels, the back that goes into the back of the ship where there's part of the engine, and then these side panels here, because they didn't have an interior. They didn't have interior detailed side panels, so they do. And of course, you got a painting thing. And these kits. Any kit that is made by Round 2 or Polar Lights, they're great kits. So, yes, again, you have to paint them. But I just think it's funny that they released, and everybody bitched and moaned so much that there was no interior, that they're like, okay, we hear you. So
I get it, though. I mean, that's not a small kit, so you're kind of thinking it should have an interior?
Yes. So I did get
a shuttlecraft to open up. You want to have it in...
Yeah. And look, they're killing it. Round 2's making the 2001 kits. They're doing their Star Trek kits, the 1/350th scale kits they've done of both the Enterprise and the Enterprise refit, and the original classic Enterprise they do. And that's the same size as the Tomy toy, the Enterprise toy they're making. And what's cool about it is they come with different decal sheets, so you can have the ISS Enterprise from the Mirror Universe. And they're also making their Klingon battle cruiser that came out like 3 or 4 years ago from Star Trek The Motion Picture is amazing. They have a new kit coming out of the Kronos 1 from Star Trek 6, which it was the same model, but then they added a bunch of etched brass to the outside of it. It's going to come with all that, different color scheme, different paint scheme, and different decals. So, if you want Chancellor Gorkon to come visit your bedroom on a peace mission, you can get the battle cruiser. And that's something I've always wanted. Like no one made that model, and now Round 2 is making it in 1/350th scale. So that fucker's huge. I mean, as far as model kits go. So, and the bigger the better. That's what I say. And so yeah, but again, you have to build these models, and they're very cool. And it's it may be not. It's not like what Martino Simoni, by the way, who's in the chat. I don't know if the great Martino Simoni, who I hope to go see this year, and I want to drive around in his Prisoner Lotus car. The man who gave us Playmobil, an armada of Playmobil vehicles, kit, the A-Team van, the Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger, the Starship Enterprise, the Bird of Prey. I mean, come on,
as well.
Yeah, Knight Rider, and Martino's in the chat. Martino says, he sends in a super chat that says, "Big head contains a big brain." It's true. It's true.
Wow.
It certainly
I looked
does.
out there, but normally, yes. Normally, yeah, but I sort of looked out.
Yes.
But speaking about Star Trekkers.
Oh, wait, before you say that, Anonymous sends in a tip. The tip, you can tip or super chat. The tip feature links in the description, but this kills me. Anonymous says, "I finally bought," and I want to say this because yesterday was Clint Eastwood's 93rd birthday.
Yeah.
He turned 93. So Anonymous says, "I finally bought my first collectible, and it's Clint Eastwood's Preacher from Pale Rider." And then I followed that up with Sideshow's Baby Grogu. "I can't wait for them to arrive in the coming months because I want to buy more." Oh, Anonymous. Oh, let me just
You
say,
see,
first of all, thanks for
peop-
supporting the channel, and you want to buy more. Let me ask you, Az, do you think that
Yeah.
Anonymous is going to buy more? He says she maybe wants to buy more. What do you think's going to happen to Anonymous when Anonymous gets their first collectibles? What do you think's going to happen?
They're gonna buy it all. They're gonna buy it all. Because that's what happens.
Can you believe Clint Eastwood's 93 years old and he's directing a movie?
Okay. Right. Everyone's just like, holy cow. Clint Eastwood, he's 93 years old. You know. And then I just go, William Shatner.
He's going to be
He's like a kid. William Shatner's like a kid compared to Clint Eastwood. You know, Clint Eastwood.
And
He's
Clint
definitely
Eastwood
looking
didn't go to space.
frail and no. But it's just like, I'll raise you, Bill Shatner, 92, child, gonna live forever. I hope he lives forever. But speaking of Bill Shatner
will live forever.
I hope so. I hope he outlives me. This is my next piece, and you'll appreciate this quite a bit. I think you have it, but you'll still appreciate this quite a bit.
Oh, yes.
I got the XM Studios captain's chair for Kirk, Captain Kirk's chair for the Enterprise.
That's
from the OG
QMX.
QMX, yeah, sorry.
Have you plugged it in?
Sorry, did I say XM?
Yeah, have you plugged it in?
I was taking it out the box for the first time just then. This is...
Okay, I love that chair. Now you already got... So now you are in possession of two captain's chairs from two different enterprises.
Yes.
You have the Enterprise E command chair from First Contact. Which mine hasn't come in yet. I'm supposed to get it this week.
There you go.
That is from XO6.
XO6, yeah. QXM, but XO6.
Yeah, XO6. Yes, which is amazing. And you've got the great First Contact Picard figure that can sit in it. And then, of course, now you've got the. Now, have you seen the dude that makes the navigation consoles? The 6-scale navigation consoles from the original bridge that he's on Etsy.
You showed the showed them last week.
Yeah, because you need that chair to go with the piece.
Yes.
So.
But then I need the original crew.
Yeah, that's XO6. But what do you think now? What is your impression of? Because that command chair is great. What do you think?
I love it.
It's great, right?
It's just perfect. It's just this is a, someone says it's a bit basic. Well, that's what the chair was like. This is exactly what the chair was like. It was quite a basic exterior.
And it's got an it's not hard plastic. That's actual like fabric or rubbery, the cushions.
Oh yeah, cushions. This isn't plastic. No. This is This is like pleather or whatever. Whatever it is. But that's a cushiony material. You've got the wooden. The wooden aspect of it that goes on the side there. Then his panel,
and it lights up, and it has sound effects and everything.
You've got the. I have to do it in reverse, so it's all weird. There you go. That's at the back. So and you can just put batteries in.
Yeah. Yep.
Batteries in if you want there. 3 double A's.
I had my QMX. I have to get mine back. It's upstairs. I had my QMX Con from Space Seed sitting in the command chair.
Ooh, that's good.
That
is good.
But that's great. That is a very, very good. It's a good piece. It's a good piece. I like it very much. So, and you just got that this week, huh?
That arrived, I think, the day after Hot Toys last week.
Oh, because that's a hard thing to find.
Same as the Batman.
Where'd you?
They are selling them on Amazon right now.
Really?
They're on Amazon for like 100 and something quid. 100 and yeah.
I wonder if that's
you
Amazon.
Just put QMX Star Trek, and maybe put QMX Star Trek chair.
QMX Star Trek. Let's see.
I'll just put Star Trek chat. What Star Trek chat brings up?
Let's see. What is it?
There we go. Yeah. It's under quantum mechanics as opposed to QMX.
Oh.
Quantum mechanics, 1 in 6 Star Trek, £113, 78 pence in stock. 6 left in stock in the Amazon in the UK.
Wow, that's
so if you want to grab one, and if you're, you'll know if you want to grab one.
You know what? It's here. It's here tomorrow. It's on the U.S. Amazon site too. They have 11 left, and
6 left in the UK.
And it's actually from the QMX store. So the QMX store is still there. So they still have. I wonder if they have any 6 scale figures left. So they got the chair. Wow, they have the Spock and the Picard. The Spock is $700.
Yeah, £750 here. The Kirk is £750.
And the face sculpt was always questionable on that. He looked, but come on, because they only have a few left. $700. Come on, give me a break.
The bones is showing, but not there.
Yeah, and the Picard's $300. But just wait to get that from.
I got that Picard.
Yeah,
I got that. I got that from Sideshow.
Yeah, it's a good Picard, but they're gonna make even better ones.
Oh yeah.
And they announced. I was on 6 Scale Mafia's channel with actor Todd Stashwick, who played Liam Shaw, when they announced.
Yeah.
They announced. I didn't, but Anthony was able to, as somebody who works with X06, he was able to announce they are making a Captain Shaw figure, which is exciting. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. They got their Locutus is ready. It's getting ready to ship in the next couple weeks. The pictures for that look great. And they've got they announced that they're going to put up Odo for pre-order soon. And I guess the Odo.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and the Odo comes with an accessory, so like he's half in his gelatinous form or something. So that comes, so that's cool. And then he teased O'Brien. He teased a 6 scale O'Brien, which is
nice.
And the thing is, what I want to know is, does O'Brien come with his Next Generation uniform and his Deep Space Nine uniform? Or
I would imagine just the DS9.
Yeah.
And it's going to be grey DS9 as well.
Yeah, and then you've got so they got, and he showed a Dax head sculpt. I think was there a Dax? I mean, he's always teasing stuff, and you never know what's coming next or when. But it looks pretty.
We've seen a Pike. We have seen an OG Pike.
Yeah, right? And that's coming too, and that looks spectacular. Because I'd love to get that OG Pike. I'm a big fan. So good stuff coming from those folks.
Would they do the chair? Would they do Pike in a chair?
Well, they had one. There is a prototype for that. Although it's kind of morbid. Although I would want.
Well, it's a thing though.
I know. I'd buy
Jordy's blind. What do you got against the disabled, Robert?
Nothing. I have nothing against the disabled.
Are you an ableist, Mr. Burnett?
Yeah, I want everyone to be willing and able.
Hello. Fair enough. I'll just settle for ready, willing.
Yeah.
Ready and willing will do for me.
So, yes, indeed. But that's exciting. I mean, so all of this stuff, I mean, it doesn't look like we've got figures coming in, models coming in. All kinds of. I'm sure you're going to get a deluge of Transformers figures. I know you're not going to buy them because they're from the movie, but there might be some good stuff. They might have some good stuff, right?
No,
not one thing.
I've seen. Hasbro Pulse have shown. It's just no.
Okay.
No. These aren't Transformers. These are Abomination. Terrible. But I don't buy Transformers from Hasbro.
Right. You're buying third-party stuff.
I'm buying fans' toys, X-Transbots. The only... And then the licensed stuff I'll get is Tomy Takara, so the Takara masterpieces. So
Right.
that's essentially the Japanese wing of it. So yeah, but the Hasbro stuff, yeah, when Earth, whatever it was, Earth something, happened a few years ago. I did buy some of that. That's all in storage.
Sure.
At the moment. But no, I look at the Hasbro stuff, and I'll tell you, one of the major reasons is it looks so cheap. And I did pick up a hot rod. You weren't on the stream. George was. I picked up a hot rod. Transformers the movie Hot Rod, which is the toy version of Hot Rod. And they've slightly changed the color scheme to be more in line with the movie. Changed a few things to make it more in line with the movie. This is a piece of fucking tat. Absolute tat. The arms just fall off. It looks so cheap if you look at the plastic on it. It is. You think when these were made, these are die cast on them. Like this top bit here on the OG, this was die cast. And then this is just this plastic, and it looks cheap and it feels cheap. And yes, they tried to make it more like the Transformers the movie version, but holy shit, like the weapons, lumps of plastic. And these are the people that are fucking whinging and moaning about, oh, we've got plastic-free fucking packaging, which houses our big fucking lump of plastic. Sorry, this is awful. This is absolutely awful. Just the joints. Like, I remember they had like a metal bar that would go through there on the OG toy. This is literally just clipped in. This will fall out if you apply too much pressure. It'll just fall out. I tried to transform it as I would normally, when I used to have this originally. I was trying to transform it, and one of the arms just came off at the joint. Just came off, so you had to click it back in. It's just like, and that was like 45. No, is that like 35 or 45 pounds? I think 45 pounds. I'm not even joking. That is that is like 44 pound fucking profit.
Yeah.
Insane. Just awful build. So the quality of them is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And no, I'd rather spend £110 on a Fans Toys cliff jumper and have an absolutely amazing, beautiful looking toy that's as accurate to the cartoon as you can get with an actual transformation going on, that looks divine. It's got die cast elements all over the place, holds some chonk to it, and comes with a great plethora of accessories and posability. Articulation is incredible. So I'd rather pay for quality, and the quality is Fans Toys. That's where the quality is at for Transformers. Fans Toys.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's the thing, getting those third-party figures. By the way, Anonymous asks about what you're talking about, Star Trek X06. Do you think they will make the DS9 Ferengis? Quark, Rom, Nog, Brunt, and the Grand Nagus. They are making the Quark. I don't know if they'll get around to making the other. I don't know if X06 will, but the Quark is spectacular.
It's out for pre-order, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Quark is the costume is amazing. The great thing about X06 is the tailoring of the costumes is impeccable. Really, really, really well done. Because Nanjin Tam, who runs X06, who was at QMX, comes from a family. They were tailors. Apparently, they made clothes. So one of the great things about the X06 figures is the Star Trek figures is the clothes that they come with.
Quark. I mean, the head sculpt of Quark looks unbelievable.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So if that head sculpt, if the head sculpt is as good as the pre-order, and the pre-order is now over,
yeah.
So you're gonna have to look on the secondary market or hope that when it comes out, maybe a few go into stock in the store.
Yeah, they go. I
But
mean,
maybe if you get a Sideshow might actually have it for pre-order. But
Yeah.
X06 pre-orders topped.
yeah, the thing it's it's funny. X06 only has, if you miss pre-orders, they only have 3 figures that you can buy from them still. One is Q, the Q in the judge's robes from Encounter at Farpoint, which is, and All Good Things, which is interesting to me. I would have thought Q would have sold out, but I get it. And the only other 2 figures that X06 still has in stock are Burnham and Saru from Discovery.
Well, I'm just having a look, and they do have some Benjamin Siskos for sale.
Oh, they do? Oh, that's good.
So they got it in basic and also deluxe. Then they've got Burnham. Then they've got Saru. Archer's just come into. Archer's just been released, and Archer's in the store.
Yeah, they should still have that then.
You've got Q, which I would have thought that would have flown off.
Yeah.
You have Mirror Universe, so Sulu, and you can still. And what I'm gonna, before I say who, I'm just gonna preempt with this. If you don't get this figure and you're a Star Trek Voyager fan, I have nothing to say to you if you miss out. Because this figure is insanely good. They do have some Chakotay still in stock.
Right, and those are brand new too. So
They're pretty much brand new. But that Chakotay
oh my god, dude.
is one of the greatest figures I have seen, period. That from the head sculpt to the cut of the suit, everything. That Chakotay is unreal. Robert Beltran,
yeah.
yeah. He must be so fucking proud of that. he if he's not married, I think he's married. He'd be crushing puss until he died, based off this figure. But I was so impressed with how beautifully tailored and cut the suit was.
Oh,
and
it's gorgeous.
And like I said, the face sculpt with the tattoo and everything. It was. I think this is the best head sculpt that X06 has done to date.
It might be. It's really, really great.
Unreal.
It's
Absolutely
interesting.
unreal.
They're going to finish. People always ask me, why did X06 lean into Voyager so heavily? Because we're going to end up with the so we've got so
Voyager
far.
first,
yeah. We've got Janeway. We've got the holographic Doctor. We've got Chakotay. We've got 7 of 9. We've got there's one. I'm missing another one. Oh, Tuvok. And we're getting
Tuvok,
we're getting Harry Kim.
Seven.
Harry Kim goes on sale. We got Tom Paris and we have Neelix. They're not going to make a Kess, but because on streaming of all the class,
isn't that due to pre-order imminently?
Yes, I think at the end of the month. Voyager is, of all the classic Star Trek shows, was the one that was streamed the most. Which is why I think that and I think the reason for that is I think a lot of people didn't see much of Voyager. I know I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
When it was on, I was busy, and it was me it was derivative. I thought it was that was derivative. But it's funny. I was told by people that I really respect, like John Ottman, the Academy Award-winning editor and composer, and then Brian Fuller, who worked on Voyager. They both told me, they're like, you should take another look at Voyager. And while it's inconsistent, Voyager I think is a very inconsistent show. There's a lot of great science fiction episodes of Voyager that are I think are really good.
I think I agree. I think Voyager is exceedingly inconsistent.
Yes,
it does have some incredible episodes, some incredible science fiction. It also has some absolutely abysmal episodes.
Yes, it does.
Which is, we're talking abysmal.
Abysmal.
I think the frustration with a lot of people when it comes to Voyager is the premise was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You've been pushed out through the caretaker into the Delta Quadrant. The caretaker dies, so you can't go back. You are 70 years away from Earth.
Light years, yeah.
It's going to take you, yeah. So, you see 70 light years away. So 70 years if you're going at warp 1, is it? Or something like that. So it was a smaller ship, so it had a smaller crew.
Mm-hmm.
had like a complement of like 140 or something ish, 128 or something, somewhere around there. So it had a complement of crew, small complement, which a lot got killed in the first episode.
Yeah.
Right. That was supplemented by the what are they called? The terrorists.
There's the Maquis.
The Maquis. Yeah, so they were supplemented by Maquis, who they were fighting with at the start.
Yeah.
So you had this mixture of Maquis crew with Starfleet crew, and so you're thinking limited resources, limited photon torpedo, limited phasers, limited warp drive capacity, limited dilithium. You had all these, and all these little things, a crew that could erupt at any moment, and they turned it into a generic show.
Yeah. It's funny that one of the things I always thought that they, like you said, they had a great premise. The idea that they were trying to get home, I thought was the biggest problem with the show. It would have been really interesting if they just resolved themselves to their fate, that they're stuck on the other side of the galaxy in the Delta Quadrant, and they could have formed a Federation beachhead. Like, okay, we're not going to get home. We're going to try and bring the Federation ethos to this part of the galaxy, and sort of tamed a rough and tumble part of the galaxy that needed law and order. And it would have been really interesting to see how do we bring our utopian post-scarcity values to a part of the galaxy that doesn't share those beliefs. And how do we figure out, like, it could have been a world-building show. I'm not saying like Game of Thrones, but, dealing with all these factions and the political infighting, and then whether, and also the problem was, too, the villains they came up with, like the phage, the people that were suffering from the horrible diseases, and then the Kazon were just not good. They were not good adversaries in the first couple seasons. And, then they bring in the Borg, and then they kind of, they
rely on the Borg.
They relied on the Borg, and they also kind of punked out, and they made the Borg less interesting. They kept humanizing the Borg, with
the
Matrix
problem with
Zero.
The Borg is the introduction of a queen that fucked up the Borg.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. And then they didn't do much, with it. But there was still, like, when they did there was great episodes like Living Witness, where the holographic doctor is like reactivated 400 years in the future or something, and and then that's a great episode. One of my favorite episodes of Star Trek ever is there's an episode called Blink of an Eye, where the Voyager is suspended in orbit around the planet where time moves differently, much faster on the surface of the planet. So they've been looking at the Voyager stuck in the sky for centuries, and the Voyager and then they finally come up to the Voyager, and it's that was a great. I mean, one of the things, because of Brandon Braga being a producer, they did some really great science fiction concepts, and then that 2-parter Year of Hell was really good.
That was just what I was going to say. I think that's some of the best Star Trek.
It was so good.
Year of Hell.
But again, the only problem with that was after it was over, it resets as if it didn't happen. And I always hated that. I'm like, there should be ramifications. But there's a lot of good stuff to find. So I have no problem.
There was definitely a ramification at the end of that. So
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I'm happy to have those Voyager figures. It'll be nice to have, especially because they're so well tailored, they do look great up on a shelf together. So that's cool.
To me, Voyager should have been the show that took risks.
Yes.
It should have been the show that said, Tom, I'm just using Tom as an example, or Harry. Probably Harry, actually, because Harry's a more likable character than Tom. They say, Harry, you're on for 2 seasons and we're killing you.
Right. Yeah.
Because we need to establish a character, and then we need to take it away. And then the audience need to know that this is dangerous. This is a dangerous plight that the Voyager is actually in.
Well, one of my favorite, it only lasts 1 episode, but there's a very famous episode of Voyager called Tuvix, where because of a transporter, Tuvok and Neelix were combined into one being, and there's an ethical conundrum. do we, this new being that's created, do we kill this being at the end of the episode to get our friends back? And this, well, if I had made the show, I would have had Tuvix become a character for half the season. So your main characters, Neelix and Tuvok, were gone. And so, and then you make Tuvix.
Everyone cheers. Neelix is gone.
Well, no, but I mean, and then you really make people love Tuvix. And then at the end of the season, the cliffhanger would be, well, we now have a way to bring back Tuvok and Neelix. We can separate Tuvix. And the question would be, do we do it? And so really make it a conundrum where this moral and ethical consideration of this being is this, and this being you'd have to have, because the actor that played Tuvix was pretty good,
he was fantastic.
Yeah, and can you imagine if you fell in love with that
episode?
If you
at
loved
the end of the episode, he was at, you were just like, oh god.
And see, that's the great.
The whole episode, you're like, no, split them, put them back.
Yeah,
and then essentially pleading for his life.
It was. And if you liked him, if they but the thing is, TV at the time couldn't take those kinds of, you couldn't play with that. Star Trek was still locked into its sort of format,
sure.
and I get that, and I just wish, I wish that I look at modern Star Trek, and if we had those kinds of moral and ethical conundrums, I mean, I feel like I want great science fiction to come back into Star Trek, and we don't really have a lot of that. There's a lot of, because we live in a world now where there's a lot of moral scientific advances that are taking place and a lot of moral and ethical questions, which is what science fiction does so well. You can tackle these issues that become very divisive in our world, but when you do it in a science fiction context, people don't get mad about it. They can sit back and go, huh, that's really interesting. There's a great episode of Enterprise called Cogenitor where
that's really good.
Really, they find dude,
to me that is a risky Star Trek episode.
That is and the end of it's fucking
and
devastating.
The end of it, you're just like, because I mean, Trip, right? Okay, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Should I set up the episode for people
sure, yeah, you set up the episode and then I'll ask the question.
So in this episode, Cogenitor, the Enterprise is doing a survey on a star, and while they're doing it, they find another alien race is also doing a survey on the star. They don't know who these people are, and they meet. And it turns out that this other alien race is very nice, very amenable. Everybody's getting along, and they find out, the Enterprise crew finds out that this new alien race they have a third gender. And they need 3 genders to reproduce. But this really nice race, turns out that the third gender is like a total second-class citizen. Almost, they don't allow this third gender to become educated. They don't allow the third gender to participate. They're like non-people. And of course, but the rest of them are really, the other people are very, very nice. Except for us, we're like, why would you treat these people so badly? And so Trip is basically us. And he's asking the question, well, why don't you let this third gender read? They're basically like a slave that just exists to help you procreate. And this alien race is like, yeah, well, that's the way it is. And Archer says to Trip, look, you can't, and it sets up why there's a prime directive, that you can't just impose our values on somebody else. But Trip is really upset, and he's like, he starts teaching this person who's there to help this couple have a baby. He's teaching them how to read, and he's teaching them to question their position in the world or their universe and how they should want more out of life. And he is doing something that is verboten. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be imposing. And I'll leave it there. So you were going to ask me a question?
Oh, perfect. My question to you, being such a scholar of Star Trek, is where did you stand? And we'll talk about the end momentarily. Where did you stand with how Trip was behaving? Were you pro Trip for this episode, or were you like, Trip, this is a different culture? What was your stance on this?
Okay, that's a really good question. And I think at first, when you're watching this, I felt that Trip, like me, was essentially correct. I believed that, well, yes, of course, because you're supposed to. Your initial knee-jerk reaction, we as the audience, is like, of course these people shouldn't be treated this way. They're living, thinking, breathing people. But as the episode progresses, I'm going, well, this person, you can't just jump into the deep end of the pool and try and explain to a person to me, it reminded me of if Americans are always going to foreign countries and saying, you need democracy. You have to become a democratic race, and here you get to vote. Well, if you go to a culture that's never had democracy and doesn't understand what democracy is, you can't expect them to embrace democracy wholeheartedly. It doesn't work that way, and so our first inclination is, yes, here we've brought you the Bible, and we're going to give you the Lord, and we're going to give you the Word, and everyone's supposed to be like,
you could transpose many different things, religion,
and
sexuality, particularly June.
Absolutely, and so it seems, well, of course, because we know how great it is, but of course it doesn't work out that way, because you can't transform a belief system or people overnight. And I think, nowadays we see all these, whether it's identity politics, suddenly everybody just wants to change the world in a day. And the thing is, human civilization has slowly, it might be a slow process, but eventually we evolve. Eventually things change. When they change because they do so through the natural order of things, not when you necessarily have a bunch of people suddenly trying to impose their viewpoint or their belief system on you. It doesn't work, and it only can end in tears. And so as I watched that episode, and I've watched that episode probably more than any other episode of Enterprise, because I find that episode so compelling. And every time I watch it, like you, I'm like, I want Trip to like hold back, and I'm like, dude, you're getting involved too fast. And it really has a banger of an ending where it slaps you in the face, and it's not good. And as a matter of fact, it's one of the most, I think, of all the endings of any Star Trek episode, where you realize what a member of the Enterprise crew did to another culture with all good intentions, but it ended in the worst possible way. It really sets up why there has to be a prime directive, and why we cannot go around imposing our viewpoint on other people or other alien civilizations. And it does so in a way that, in the end, at first when you find out what's going on in this episode, you want to hate this other alien race. You're like, well, how can you do that? But by the end, you don't, because you realize, like, hey man, this is how this civilization developed, and this is how it works. This is how they procreate, and we're trying to impose it's a banger of an episode, but by the end, I think
two secs. The beauty about this is an amazing episode.
It's an amazing episode.
But what they do, which is really clever, is they pair off certain members of the crew with this alien race.
Yes.
And they deal with every one of them deals with a different aspect.
Yes.
Of the alien race. So they're not all talking about, oh, you got 3 genders and this is how you procreate. No, that was Trip's bit.
Yeah.
The others,
the engineering
going out. Yeah, you got the engineering, you got the exploration element. And because it's saying, look at how much we can have in common.
Right.
And look how different we can also be at the same time. And Trip, who, by the way, is, I think, a phenomenal Star Trek character.
Yes.
Because you've actually, Trip to me is a human being who they kind of use the Spock role, the Data role. But instead of being sort of ignorant, and ignorant maybe being a harsh word, but ignorant or naive or cold in the case of Vulcans, with Trip, they make him overly empathetic.
Yes.
So he's the one who's always wanting, he's got this massive empathetic side to him. So even in like the first episode or the second episode, first or second, when they're on that planet and they're meeting aliens for the first time, sort of thing, and they've and that woman and her child, and she's like taking away the breathing thing in it, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" And then T'Pol has to say, "Look, yo, this is how they weaned them off this," and because Trip's first instinct is to protect the child, and so to put Trip in this role is perfect. This is absolutely peak Trip.
Well, it's funny because Trip is also kind of the quintessential American. He's kind of the down-home, sing-songy, folksy kind of a guy.
Working man. He's the working man.
And he's really good at his job, and yet he's the first person to want to be like to help everybody. But like you said, I'd forgotten that aspect of the episode that that Captain Archer loves these people. He's dealing with, and then everyone else is really enjoying what they're learning about, and it's a really, to me, it's what peak science fiction and peak Star Trek is. And it's funny because when people write off a whole series, I always say, because I know that Enterprise wasn't as entirely successful as we wanted it to be, but again, when it was working really well, it really did a great job. And the characters are great.
Going back and rewatching it, I mean, I'm probably going to go rewatch it again soon. But rewatching it 5-6 years ago, I really connected with it a lot more.
Yeah.
You get past the shitty theme tune. You get past the shitty theme tune, and it's actually got a really solid cast. It's a very solid cast of characters.
Jolene Blaylock, I mean, she might be hot, but she's a terrific Vulcan.
Phenomenal.
She
absolutely
really
phenomenal.
Because people tend, just like Tim Russ actually plays a great Vulcan in Voyager, because what people don't understand is Vulcans have emotions. They just control them.
They control them. Yes.
And so they understand, like when Spock understands humor. Like if you watch the original series, he'll crack a joke. Like there's a great, at the end of Mirror Mirror, McCoy and Kirk are making fun of Spock's counterpart, in the Mirror universe, and Spock says, "Let me just explain what I got to see from your counterparts," and then talks about how brutal they are, and he's like the very flower of human civilization, or something like that. And so, that's the whole point. I mean, it's Star Trek was a lot more sophisticated than people give it credit for, and I think what my objection to a lot of modern Star Trek is it isn't sophisticated. They've gone back to all this virtue signaling and identity politics that's so modern. It's all of today. It dates. It immediately
and
dates.
Over-emotional.
Completely over-emotional. And it's not sophisticated. And that's people are always like, why do you dislike modern Star Trek so much? And I'm like, because there's no nuance in it. And it's also not smart. And
no, it's not clever. No, it's not clever.
It's not and it's frustrating.
One of the greatest things about Star Trek is sometimes you can see what's going to happen, but you're never disappointed in the way that they do it. And then quite a lot of the time, they are 2 steps ahead of you. And that's exactly how it should be. You watch an episode of Discovery or Strange New Worlds, and you're way ahead of the fucking writing. You're picking apart, this wouldn't happen. You're picking this, why did that happen? You're picking, that isn't logical. You're picking apart everything because it's not correct. It's not how it should be.
Right.
Whereas with I just recently rewatched the whole of TNG. I love to do it every few years, just for the whole thing, and that is a well-oiled machine that is working to a very strict chain of command.
Yes.
Same with Enterprise. Enterprise is the same. It's a machine, a new machine that they're trying to gel together, but again, very strict chain of command. DS9. Very strict chain of command. Voyager, very strict chain of command. You always know everyone's position from Ensign Kim to Lieutenant Paris through to Commander Chakotay. They are separate levels. They're on separate levels of each other. And you can tell that and you understand that and they act like that. This isn't fucking friends in space.
Right.
Imagine in what fucking world would you see Picard go over to Ensign fucking Rowe and go, Rowe, I'm promoting you up to captain in my absence. What? like it did with Tilly.
Well, yeah, I can't.
And I'm just like, wait a minute, what happened to all your fucking command structure?
Well, that's the thing. I find Strange New Worlds you can see it in the trailers. Strange New Worlds to me is very difficult to.
Friends in space.
Well, yeah, I can't. There is no command structure, and the captain's like, "Hey, come to my apartment, and I'll make you come to my stateroom, and I'll make you dinner." And the thing is, he doesn't have like the whole. Whenever you watch any time you're dealing with a military structure in storytelling, you have to deal with the military structure. It exists, but nowadays, this idea that there are people that are in command and there are subordinates. In the workplace, everybody wants to believe that, at least here in America, everybody wants to believe that they're equal. And so when you're in the workplace, we're all kind of a collectivist society now. Everybody's on the same level. And when you're watching a show that's essentially about a quasi-military structure, and they dispense with that, which they have done with Discovery and Strange New Worlds, I can't watch it. Because by doing that, there's no credibility for the rest of your storytelling. Who's going to make, like, when you're in a situation where, I don't know, an alien war might break out, if you don't, which is what happened in the beginning of Discovery, Michael Burnham just commits mutiny, gets her captain killed, and starts a war with the Klingons. I'm like, I'm done with you. I'm done with your show. I'm done with your premise. I'm done with your actors. You've strained credulity, and that has never recovered. Star Trek Discovery is probably one of the worst science fiction shows ever made for that reason. Mm-hmm. You cannot believe anybody on it. And Strange New World suffers from that as well. They're so busy trying to make the show this cool throwback that wants to make everybody happy that the characters, the way they talk to each other, I can't, I heard somebody wrote me this past week and said, I was a navigator in the Navy. I would never speak to my commanding officer unless I was spoken to, if I was, on the bridge or whatever. That's just, it has to be that way. You have to have that command structure, because if you find yourself in a perilous situation, that's command structure is what's going to get you through. And, everybody today wants to believe it's that everything now is written from the every kid gets a trophy perspective. That, we're all equal here on the bridge. No, you're not. And this idea that everybody wants equity, it doesn't work. There's no such thing in human society.
No, there is not.
And now that it's infected the storytelling of, and it not all, you go back and you watch The Expanse, or you go back and you watch Galactica, it's so refreshing to go back and be like, oh, here's how real people would be in this situation. And that's one of the reasons people are like, why do you object? Like, I love Strange New Worlds, because Strange New Worlds is like this comfort. It's the weird Vegas show version of Star Trek. It works so hard to put a smile on your face, but I'm like, I don't believe any of this show. I don't buy it.
No, I do stuff to 2 episodes. I was like, this is garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I love the cast. I love Anson Mount, but it's like Anson Mount's everybody's handsome space daddy. And I'm like, I don't believe it, and as it's gone on, it's become less believable. Hey, but I'll still tune in and watch whatever. But no,
you're on your own.
We've gone off. We got a few. We don't have a lot. We have a few super chats though. Maxim M says the Batfleck is previewed and he is not Affleck and Chonky. I don't know about that, but
well, it's actually, I mean, he's still a big boy, he's Ben Affleck, but it is current day Ben Affleck, and he did lose a fair bit of weight since.
He is thinner in the movie too. He looks good, but maybe that's what it's supposed to be.
He was at the height of his alcoholism in Justice League. So
yeah. Our friend Manowar665, neighbor of the Beast, says they won't promo you a red cent on those ads. They want you fully spread. They were talking about your
I'll
sideshow.
do it. Yeah. I'll forget. Okay.
1-6 shoot.
Your terms are acceptable.
Yeah, 1-6 shooter says, "Did you see the pics of Paul Atreides?" Oh, it's funny that you should say that because lo and behold, here we go. There is a 6 scale Paul Atreides figure. It's funny. I think that figure looks fantastic, and I pre-ordered it because I'm a huge Dune fan. So I did, in fact, pre-order that Paul Atreides. The problem is, here's what bums me out about movies like that, is that they're only going to make the one figure, and it's cool. I love having movie figures, and you put them on a shelf where you get like RoboCop, Paul Atreides, The Crow, whatever, all these fantasy, and that's cool. But it'd be nice to have like a Lady Jessica or maybe a Stilgar or but they won't do that. But yeah, I pre-ordered that, just like I pre-ordered the Matt Damon from The Martian, that figure, because I love them. I love that movie. El Necron's just been a member for 25 months. Thanks, man. Ironcaster says, "Hi, gents. The figure bug hit me. I got the Common Rider, and I love it. Oh, I want to get that new 12-inch or the 6 scale Common Rider from, I don't know who's making it, and then they're making 12. Common Rider was one of the very first Japanese Super Sentai shows from the late 60s. And I mean, I don't know if it doesn't predate Ultraman, but Common Rider was one of the first, and the green bug-looking one, that was the first Common Rider. I love that. Our friend 6 Scale Mafia is here. He says, "It's like I was summoned. Did someone say Exo 6? Why, yes, we did. No Money G says, "Get him, guys." I think if I was younger and didn't know old Trek, I might like this new crap. To each their own. Yeah, I think a lot of people do like the new crap because I guess it goes down easy. What's that?
This really though? When Discovery on CBS, when they actually put it on after 5 years of it being out, and it just fucking bombed.
Well, it's funny. The Discovery has had these long running arcs. Like there was the Burn. It hasn't told the stories that it tells. The Red Angel. None of it makes any sense.
Because it's retarded.
It really is. When you see we saw 7 red beacons show up in the galaxy all at once. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's not how light works.
Yeah.
I mean, the speed of light. It's like if one beacon is 50,000 light years away and the other is 75,000 light years away, you can't see 7 beacons illuminate at the same time in the galaxy. That's an impossibility. That is, and
this is the show that brought you sonar in space, though. So
I mean, I couldn't, and my cellular network. Let's not forget that. The Spore Drive. I mean, I'm like, what? Come on, guys. So bad. PF Dennis gifted 10 Burnett Work memberships.
Nice.
Thank you. Xeon Zaku Squad says, "Rob, I see you're rocking your Akira shirt. How about you show us your Kaneda figure and bike?" I cannot reach my Kaneda figure and bike right now because they're in a box that's right over there. But the 6 scale bike and Kaneda were re-released last year. So you can find them at a pretty good price. And that bike is one of my favorite 6 scale things ever. That Kaneda bike is amazing. And then we have a few tips here. Let me get this. Yamran says, "Last year I got into third-party lightsabers. This year I got back into swords. I'm also a gaming whale. Lucky for me, I've got the self-control of a Tibetan monk. But I have to say, sometimes you just gotta buy it." Hail, gents. Well, isn't that our guiding philosophy?
The answer is always yes.
The answer is always yes. It's not sometimes you got to buy it. All times, every time you have to buy it. Because why?
I got a couple of statues going, and an art piece.
Oh, can you say?
I'll show when they come in because they should be here for next week.
Oh, okay.
All of them should be here for next week. So it's probably going to be a statue and art week next week.
You know, I got to tell you, I went to the Eagle Moss. You know, they've been dropping stuff. I wanted to get the Eagle Moss XL Deep Space Nine. You know, because I went there, master replicas.
Yeah.
So I go there right at 11 o'clock. I am ready. I put it. I go and I get it. I put it in my cart. You know, and I get everything that I wanted to get, including the 10th Doctor. You know, I never had a 10th Doctor, so I don't have a 10th.
Yeah.
So I'm there, and I'm there. I maybe was looking around for all of 2 or 3 minutes, and then I went to check out. Sorry, both the Colonial Viper, the original Colonial Viper you wanted, and Deep Space Nine are sold out. And I was like, "What? They're in my cart." Doesn't matter. Gone. Thank you, but I did get a
big lot of poop.
And by the way,
was that Master Replicas?
Yeah, those. Well, that was at the Master Replicas site, and they and by the way, sold out. They
no. I saw 10th Doctor, and I thought, for 80 quid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the 1 in 6.
Yeah, no, yeah. Whatchamacallit, the Enterprise D, you know, the Fandom, I guess it's German Fandom now has the pre-orders up. They start shipping the new pieces in July because we've been buying, so they're up for pre-order. You can go do that if you want. Rob Biller sends in a tip and says, "I didn't expect a full-on Star Trek conversation on this show, but I'm loving it. Would love for you both."
We have them with regularity. When Rob and I start talking, Star Trek kind of comes up quite a bit, and we do like to have a bit of a chin wag about it, you know?
Yeah, he says, "Would love for you both to have a show that you could do a deep dive from Battlestar Galactica to Star Trek and beyond. Thank you both for some great conversations." Well, I really enjoyed, Az and I did we went back and forth on our channels and did a deep dive into The Prisoner. And I thought that was when we first started. How great is that shirt, by the way?
So good.
I love doing those. I mean, those are really
great. That was good.
That was a lot of. I mean, it goes back, and that was years ago. That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think 2020.
Yeah, dude, that was a pandemic. When we were looking, that was really good. I mean, it would be interesting to go back and watch. You know, it's funny sometimes. I don't know if you do this, but sometimes in my YouTube feed, clips from things will show up, like Battlestar Galactica clips, because they used to just put. And then I'll go off on a jag and I'll watch these. I'll watch 10 3 or 4 minute Galactica. Yeah. You do that, and it's like
very easy to pull down that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
no problem.
It's just you don't have anything to do for 40 minutes, and you just look at clips.
Yeah,
and they're random from all 4 seasons, and it's like, God, this show is good. And then it's like, I'll go pull out the Blu-ray box set and start watching, and that's what makes me want to go back and watch shows again. You know, when you go back and you fall into that kind of thing, which I love. But it would be interesting. I mean, it would be interesting to go back and do, Dave Cullen, who's in your neck of the woods, did a really interesting, couple months back, he did a really interesting look at 70s dystopian sci-fi movies. And, and was looking at these, which I grew up watching, but he hadn't seen. And it was really interesting listening to his analysis of those films. And I thought he did a really good job of once again showing people that might not have even heard of these movies, and giving people a reason to go back and checking them out. And he did a really great analysis, and he picked pretty much the top 10 of these kinds of movies. I thought he did a good job. I love when people go back and do that, because I don't see a lot of people doing that. You see a lot of reaction videos and things to famous stuff, but when you go back and watch things that people might not know about, I kind of like that better, because I'm curious to see what I'm
actually working on a Tomb Raider video at the moment.
Really? Mm-hmm. What kind of video?
It's about how to put this, where she should be.
Okay, that's interesting.
Where she should be, and sort of what they kind of got right along the way, what they totally messed up on the way, and where Lara Croft should be and how she should be presented.
Interesting. Now, when are you going to get there? How long is this taking you to do?
It's I'd say give me a month to finish because I'm bringing aspects in from different
Yeah.
sides. There's going to be aspects with Resident Evil and Ada Wong's. Ada Wong's going to feature in it as well.
Nice.
And so yeah, so it's something that I have ideas, Rob, about stuff that I want to do, and I'm very proactive at the moment. You know, I'm actually starting to do some editing for a change.
Nice.
And you know, the streams are just like a constant thing. And I've been sitting on these ideas with Lara for a while, and I now want to get them out. And I've been like structuring how I want it and how it's to be presented and different aspects like that. But I'm looking. It's going to be my first deep dive video that I've done.
Nice. Well, you know,
so I don't know how long it's going to be. I can't put like, oh, it's going to be 28 minutes. I don't know. But
well,
it's gonna be.
You could do a Mauler size video and it'll be 3.5 hours.
Don't think it's gonna be 3.5 hours, but I mean, I wouldn't. It could be 30 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an hour and a half. You know,
yeah.
It's there's lots of different aspects that I go into. I'm not just going into it's all of them. It's the video game. It's how she should be cast. It's the toys. It's a whole fucking thing.
I love that. I think that's, you know, like Gary Nerdrotic. Gary's been doing some really interesting on the weekends. He's been dropping these editorial videos that he's got his editors working on, like Perry. And he's done some really great work. And you know, obviously, when you have a bigger audience than say I do, doing those kinds of videos really works well because they get the eyeballs on them, and you've got more people and I love editorial videos. I love when people are, because it's like reading a great nonfiction analysis of something, and I love it. I love that. You know, I had a guy contact me. He took one of my observations and turned it into like a 10-minute editorial piece, and I hired him. I said, oh, okay, let's do more of these. He just took one of my observations when I was talking about IP, intellectual properties, and what's happening with them, and why are studios only making IPs, and it's kind of a bummer. But he turned it into this great thing, and I'm like, that's what I want to do more of on my channel. And I can't wait to see that. I'd love to. That would be something I would totally be interested in, especially because you'd be covering it from all those different angles. Plus, things like that are fun to make when you start.
I mean, I'm sort of excited to get into it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Stubble McShave says, if you don't like the science fiction of modern Star Trek, you should check out Andy Weir. Andy Weir wrote The Martian. Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary. I'm halfway through it. It will probably be in my top 3 science fiction books, and Stubble reads a lot, so that's saying a lot. I really want to read. Everybody I've talked to that's read Project Hail Mary has loved it. So I'm not really sure what even Project Hail Mary is about, but I'm there for it, and I need to get it and read it because everyone keeps telling me about how great it is. Let's see. Six Gun Mafia says, how cool was it to reveal Shaw directly to Todd Stashwick? Dude, that was the highlight of my week. He was really deeply affected by it. How often do you get? I've often wondered, like, I wanted to do a documentary about Hot Toys figures, and a big component of it was because I always start my midnight musing show with a clip from Scarlett Johansson talking about how weird Hot Toys figures, that they're kind of creepy because their likenesses are so great. And she's telling this to Reese Witherspoon. And I stole this clip from somebody, and Reese Witherspoon's like, really? And I've always wanted to interview people that had Hot Toys made of themselves, and see and give them how does Robert Downey Jr. feel about the fact that there's 20 different figures of him that cost $400, you know, die cast. I mean, I know he gets a piece of it.
Fuck. My brain is so dead today. Hawkeye.
Oh, Jeremy Renner.
We know how Jeremy Renner feels.
Does he feel good about it?
Well, he was very shrewd about it. He held them over a barrel.
Yeah.
If you want my likeness, I want 2 crates of my toy.
Yeah, that which was great. I mean, and by the way, they've made the Hawkeye toys have been that Ronin figure's spectacular.
The Ronin one's great.
It's great.
Lovely.
But that was great to see Stashwick respond that way. Andrew Anthony.
It's a shame we didn't get the proper movie that we should.
You know, a kid.
Black Widow, Hawkeye in Budapest.
Oh, that would have been. I don't know why they didn't do that. By the way, somebody sent me. I can't say who it is. They edited Picard season 3 into one long movie, and it's
long?
It's 7.5 hours. And it's really...
Did they edit anything out? I mean, is it edited or...
No, it's edited, so there's no... It just plays... There's no opening credits and stuff like that. Like, they give the title cards, and it just... you know what? I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, but it seems to be all there, but it's really well done. I started watching this, and all of a sudden, I'm like 3.5 hours in. Like, oh my God, this is great. I mean, I actually sent it to Terry Metalis. I go, dude, somebody took your show and turned it into a movie. And what's so amazing is how great it actually plays as a movie. And it's as a matter of fact, I'll tell you, now that I'm thinking about it, like they cut Laris out of the beginning. So so they did cut stuff out. So like you're watching it, and Beverly Crusher's like, trust no one, and then it cuts directly to Picard at his desk, writing at night, and then he hears the click, and it moves. I just realized that he cut out Laris, so there is stuff missing, and it moves like this, and you're like, this is great. It feels like a movie.
Well, I can get that because the front and back didn't match. The front, because the Laris bit didn't make any sense.
Yeah, so she's just not there, and I'll send it to you. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
So Six Single Mafia also says, by the way, congrats, Az, you're looking great. I've been like,
Starting
your updates. And Andrew,
I am 19 kilograms down in nearly 9 weeks now.
That is amazing, and it takes discipline.
Sadly, yes.
Andrew Matthews says, how are the puppies doing? We have 3 left, the 3 males.
Oh.
5 of them are gone to good homes, and we keep getting updates from the people that have them that they're very happy because we made sure the puppies were very well taken care of. And I want to keep one of them. I've kind of bonded with one of the males, and I can't have 4 dogs. But so if you're interested in 12-week-old puppies, we have 3 males. They are beautiful.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Are you keeping them or aren't you keeping them?
Well, here's the thing. I want to keep one of them. I mean, we want to get rid of all 3. We're selling them. But we already have 3 dogs, so we can't have a 4th or a 5th or a 6th. I mean, already there's 6 dogs.
Look, 3's awkward because 2 are chilling out. The other one's feeling left out. 4, you got 2 pairs at all times.
I can't. They're big dogs, man. I want to keep, I don't know. But there are, if you want a great puppy, they're 75% purebred poodle, standard poodle, and 25% Irish setter. They're going to be between 45 and 50 pounds. They're very sweet. They're very smart, and they're great. So if you live in the area, I've had people. We had a great guy, fly in from the East Coast to pick one up, and so they're still out there if you want one. They are fully articulated. 17. This is interesting. 1701D says, have any of you happened to watch the WDW Pro video about the new Star Trek merchandise? No. If not, I'd highly recommend.
Is this the one that then is this the video about it's not selling? Is it that video?
Oh, it might be. I probably.
Something came across my, I don't know, I can't remember if it's Twitter. I think it was Twitter. Something came across my Twitter about Star Trek merchandise just isn't selling.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I like WDW Pro, so I I don't know. So let me look this up. DW Pro. Because here's the thing about Star Trek merchandise, and I would be curious. Okay, WDW Pro. Let's see. It's Kurtzman merchandise is in the trash. Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Nobody that is true. Even I can tell you that. I mean, the fact that XO6, nobody wants to buy that merch. It's because that merchandise. The you know what? First of all, this is going to seem, considering I do a show about costume design. The Discovery uniforms, the blue and the silver, they're awful. Yes. I mean, nobody would design a uniform. This is part of the thing that the design work in Star Trek Discovery is terrible. The ship design's terrible. The costume design's terrible. And it's not, I mean, I understand what they're going for, but the thing about Star Trek is, and I think this is true of any legacy, but any legacy, like in Star Wars, no one said, the Millennium Falcon's old. Star Wars came out in 1977. In The Force Awakens, we're going to give it a visual update. Because, J.J. Abrams, for the Kelvin movies, let's redesign the Enterprise.
25% different.
And it's not good. But the redesign, it's not designed with function in mind. The whole thing about the people that designed the original, like the bridge in the Matt Jeffries, the bridge in the original Enterprise and the original Star Trek was actually looked at by the American military as a great way to have, like on ships, to build that kind of a bridge where you've got the captain sitting and surrounded by the various people. I mean, a circular thing's not necessarily something that they could do on a ship, but the people that were designing for Star Trek that's why there's iPads. There's a reason why the design work from Star Trek lived on beyond the show. But when you look at the and also the uniforms in the original series, the reason they're color coded was, of course, they wanted to sell color TVs. So they had to make Star Trek as colorful as possible. But the idea to use color to delineate what branch of the service you're in. Command was gold, Sciences was blue, and red was support. It wasn't just security. It was also engineering, and it was support services. And so, like, even though they make jokes about red shirts, I mean, Scotty was a red shirt. He was an engineer. And that was but you look at the Discovery uniforms, and they abandon all that. It's very subtle it was too ostentatious. It looked like you were going out to a disco. And so, the ship designs, there's something iconic.
Well, they were going to a disco.
That's true. A different disco. But,
where they got an STD.
I need to watch that video, though. The Hidden says, does Captain Power have structure for a reboot? Well, I used to work for a guy named Gary Goddard, who was one of the creators of Captain Power, and Roger Lay Jr., who I did the Next Generation documentaries with. They created a whole show called Phoenix Rising that was a Captain Power sequel series. They kept the original show in continuity, and they were going to expand beyond it, and it never got off the ground, but they're still trying to make it. Norwegian Kryptonian says, have you bought Anna's That Star Wars Girl's new calendar? I have not. Have you? Have you bought that Star Wars Girl's new calendar? I have not either. Well, that brings us to the end of the Super Chats. And that's,
I got one more thing.
Ooh, let's see it.
This is actually a Play Arts figure.
Ooh.
This is the Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise video.
Oh my God. Wow.
Flip back there.
Now, which Final Fantasy?
This is a video game called Stranger of Paradise.
Oh, okay.
Which came out, I think, last year. It's now available. You played a little bit. I was actually having a bit of fun on it.
Was it better than Gollum?
It's a lot better than Gollum. It's a whole lot better than Gollum. And then if I open it up, so difficult to see with the light reflecting on with the plastic and stuff.
Yeah, but still, that looks like
and this sword is fucking. You can see it there.
It's huge.
It is huge. Huge.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's I do like my Final Fantasy merch. I do like it.
Mm.
So I was having a little bit of fun playing that video. Might stream it.
That's fantastic. I love those figures. Hey, Bob Dylan's in the chat. He says there's so many good figures to discuss.
Well, you can afford them.
Lord Toth says, I love my Play Arts Captain Harlock figures. They're great. I love my Hot Toys Captain Harlock figure. It is great. So there you go. But that brings us to the 2-hour mark. 2-hour mark, dude.
I'm hungry.
Well, you should go eat.
I am.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is brings us to the end of Fully Articulated episode number 31. Next week, what toys? Back on your channel.
What toys? It should be a big statue, art, and Lego for me.
And I promise next week I'm going to have my 4.5-foot space battleship Andromeda working. I'm going to have it done. It's going to be lit up. I'm going to show it on the show. And because if I don't, Elizabeth's going to kill me. And one day I'm going to walk in and it's going to be thrown away. Yeah. So that's my plan. No. She doesn't realize I'm going to start another one right away, but
yeah,
that's the plan.
It's gone. You see, now this is completely new, so you kind of have to go at me.
Yeah, I guess that takes us out. I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel via Super Chats and tips. I want to thank Justin Toner and Lord Toth for being here, for moderating. Thank you, gentlemen. And all of you members for being here. Thank you for that. And, yeah, and everybody generously supporting the channel. Appreciate that. And a lot of people here, 10 new members, gifted, but still, thank you for being members and all that. And, yeah, I don't know. And remember, every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen. Do you have any parting words for the folks at home, Az?
Yeah, but I don't think I'll say it on your channel because I don't want to cause shit.
Okay. Well, okay, I appreciate that. I guess that brings us to the end of Fully Articulated, and I want to thank all of you for coming and seeing the boys with toys. And, I mean, come on, who doesn't want an interior to their shuttlecraft? That's all I can say. I've been looking, yeah, that's true. And it is true. I think everybody wants an interior to their shuttlecraft. That's kind of a euphemism for life. That's all I can say. And on that note, everybody, I'll say bye-bye.